Hi A3, we are doing our social studies lesson today, lesson 5, stories from the past. And in this lesson, we're going to talk about fact and fiction, knowing the difference between a historical fact and fiction. You can start off your page. If you look up at the top, we see this is the picture of Johnny Appleseed. We've talked about Johnny Appleseed before, and you can just see here we have some sequencing. First, then here we have next. What do you think would happen here? And so just for fun today, you can come up with what you think would happen next to Johnny Appleseed. So you can work on your little picture while we start our lesson together today. So many stories tell about our country's past. Some stories tell facts about real people and events. And we've talked about this. A fact is something that is true. It really happened. Annie Oakley and Davy Crockett, they were real people. Paul Bunyan, John Henry, well, they were not real people. Their stories are fiction, or we would say that they are made up. Here's a picture of Annie Oakley here. Annie Oakley, well, she learned to hunt for food when she was very young. She was very good at hunting, and later Annie was part of the Buffalo Bills Wild West show. There, she showed off her hunting skills. So number 1, we want to underline a fact about Annie. So you can decide one fact that we read here from this paragraph about Annie Oakley. Maybe it was that she was part of the Buffalo Bills Wild West show, or maybe that she was a good hunter. Both of those are historical facts. Now let's learn a little bit about Davy Crockett. Davy Crockett. Here we have Davy Crockett. Davy Crockett was born in Tennessee. As a boy, he farmed and he drove a wagon. When he grew up, he was in the army. Like Annie Oakley, Davy was good at hunting. He was a great bear hunter. While in the army, Davy fought for Texas. Texas wanted to be free from Mexico. Davy died in the fight to free Texas. We tell stories about him today. Well, we want to compare and contrast. So underline words that tell how Davy Crockett was like Annie Oakley. We want to compare them. What do they have that's similar, that's the same? How are they alike? Can you frame it? Yeah, I would say here they were both good hunters, right? They were both good at hunting. All right, let's turn the page. All right, now I see Paul Bunyan here. Well, Paul Bunyan, he was not a real person. The stories told about him are fiction. We've talked about fiction being fake. Paul grew to be very big. He used wagon wheels as a button on his shirt. Okay, picture that for a minute. A wheel of a wagon for a button on your shirt? For sure, this is fiction made up. That cannot happen. And Paul had a blue ox. A blue ox. God did not make blue ox, right? Named Babe. Babe was big and strong as Paul. Paul cut down trees and Babe took them away. Their footprints made big holes. The holes filled with rain and became lakes. Okay, I hear a lot of things that were made up that cannot happen. So underline a made up detail. That's right. Maybe you underline something about here. The footprints made big holes. A footprint can make a big hole, but I don't think the holes can fill up with rain to become a lake, right? And maybe you underlined here about the wagon wheels being buttons for his shirt. Let's look at another one. This is John Henry. The story of John Henry is fiction. John Henry helped build the railroad. He used hammers to drill spikes into rocks. He did this faster than anyone else. One day, railroad tracks had to go through a mountain. People thought a steam drill would be faster than John Henry. John Henry knew that he was faster. he knew he could do the job. Pound, pound, pound went John's hammers. He beat the steam drill. Here you will underline a made-up detail. Well, maybe you found one here that you think would be a made-up detail that happened here for John Henry. All right, let's go to number 5. Write a detail that shows Paul Bunyan was not a real person. When we talked about Paul Bunyan not being a real person, maybe it was something that you underlined over there, saying that Paul used wagon wheels for his buttons. Maybe that's something you want to write here. And then number 6 says, which person from the lesson would you celebrate and tell why? We want to talk about celebrating people in our history. And so what is one that you could celebrate? Well, I would think it could be Annie Oakley or Davy Crockett because we learned some facts about them. And so maybe it's something about Davy Crockett, maybe that he fought for Texas and died in the fight to free Texas. Maybe that's something that you could celebrate here in our history. You will finish this page, and then I have some videos for you to watch today about these friends that we've learned about today. Good job, A3.